Every time I make a video of a big trip like the NorCal BDR, Washington BDR, Oregon BDR, I always get a ton of questions about gear, riding gear, bike setup. So I made a series of videos kind of walking through each of those things. So there is a camping setup video and how I packed it on the bike. That's out already. There is the bike setup and bike build video. Check that out. That's also on the channel already. All of these videos are in the NorCal BDR playlist. And this is the rundown of all my riding gear and other miscellaneous things that I wore or used on the trip. Anything that doesn't really fall into the category of camping gear or something that's permanently attached to the bike. I'm just gonna run you through and kind of give my quick thoughts on everything that I used on the trip, so that if you're planning your own trip or trying to get ideas or at least wanting to know how one of the pieces of gear I used worked out, this will hopefully get you started, get you pointed in the right direction. So let's just go head to toe. This is the Shoei Hornet X2 helmet. I'm a big fan of this helmet. It's not cheap, it's heavy, it's kind of loud for what it is. It's hard to get on, but it's good protection, very solid feeling helmet. And I went with this over the Touratech helmet that I've been wearing a lot lately because I dropped the Touratech helmet not that long ago and cracked the shell. I didn't want to do, multiple days on the highway plus a week in the backcountry with a helmet with a cracked shell. So expensive helmet, the Hornet X2 is, but it's a good one, I like it. Quick straps, one of my favorite accessories. And the best thing about quick straps is you can do it one-handed. It's hard to demonstrate that when I'm not wearing it, but you can pop the side off like this, and then it flips around. You can do all this with your left hand while your right hand's still on the throttle, and then you can pull it over with your left hand and attach it to the Velcro, and suddenly you're wearing goggles. So you don't always have to stop to do goggles on and off, and they're always there with you on your helmet. The big disadvantage there is they get kind of dusty on the back of the helmet. And then the other thing on the helmet itself is the Sena 50S. We didn't use these for communication because we had the Baofeng radios, but I used it for music on the way down and the way back, and it was great, long-lasting battery and all that. I know it works fine with the mesh and all that, but that wasn't what I used it for on this trip. If we're working top to bottom, then the next thing, and you knew it was going to be in here, this is my trusty Dork in the Road neck gaiter. Now, I'm biased. I like these. I like this design because I helped design it. We sell these on Moto Camp Nerd's store. Everything will be linked in the description, by the way. Highly recommend a good neck gaiter. This is that kind of dry fit t-shirt material, even if you don't want a Dork in the Road one. Something made out of not like cotton like a t-shirt, but it's stretchy. It's big enough for my big neck. Some of the small ones never fit me, and it's soft enough that you can use it to wipe off your goggles, your glasses, your sunglasses. You can soak it in the water. I did this on the trip a couple times and wear it around your neck, and so when the air starts flowing, it's like air conditioning. That is a total game changer. You can pull it up over your face when it's dusty, a lot of that on this trip. You can even wear it on your head at night if it's cold, like a stocking cap. You guys have heard me extol the virtues of neck gaiters, but this is the best $20 you can spend on a piece of riding gear, in my opinion. I wear them basically year-round. Probably the most expensive thing is my Mosko Moto Basilisk IR riding gear. And this was a last-minute decision because I've been talking to Mosko about getting some gear. Amy got these to me like 2 days before I left. I decided that it was a good test of the gear because it was going to be cold on the way down and hot on the way back, so gave me a chance to test it out in all kinds of different temperatures. This is waterproof gear. It's probably more wintry, spring, fall gear. It's less summer gear. It does have good ventilation for a piece of gear like this, but over 80 degrees it was pretty hot, and you'll see in the videos me riding around with the jacket unzipped a lot of the time. Having said that, it's very comfortable. I'm comfortable with the amount of protection. It has level 2 armor, CE level 2 soft armor in the elbows and the back and the shoulders. It's not stiff like some other jackets like this, and it's a single layer. The claim to fame for this is there's no inner liner. It is just pockets that the armor goes into, so there's nothing between you and the jacket. That allows for the maximum airflow. It has a ton of great features. I'm gonna do a separate review on the IR jacket and pants, but basically my quick review of the jacket and pants is comfortable, incredibly protective, too hot over 80 degrees, and way, way too expensive. If you want the absolute best jacket and pants out there, it's hard to beat. Just know you're gonna pay for it. I was happy with the gear except when it was hot, but I do think it's pretty expensive. On the flip side of expensive is the MSR gear I was wearing. So I had the MSR Axis jersey on underneath my jacket for much of the trip, and I will tell you, I have friends like Travis who wear jerseys under their jackets all the time, and I've always thought, that sounds uncomfortable, I don't want long sleeves. But it actually is nice because the jersey will capture the sweat and breathe, and so when the air flows through, it is pretty comfortable and it keeps you from having the jacket itself right on your skin if you are sensitive to stuff like that. So the MSR Axis stuff is great quality for a low price, but really any jersey material jersey will work for that. If we're working down, then I guess the next thing was, these are the Darn Tough socks. Long wool socks, breathable when it's hot, warm when it's cold, antimicrobial because this is merino wool. Got these from Motocamp Nerd. Very comfortable, cushy, great socks for this trip. Go up high enough that my boot isn't rubbing on my leg all day. Speaking of boots, I have worn these boots on so many trips. Alpine Stars Corazals. They're the best combination of comfort and protection that I'm aware of. Now, on a BDR trip, especially like the Oregon BDR, I generally wear something more protective. Like Oregon BDR, I wore my Tech 7s the whole time and they were great. Knowing that the California BDR wasn't as technical, I decided to roll the dice and wear these, and these are all-day comfortable boots. I think I've had these for 4 years. They're still kicking, so a few $100, but it's a great adventure boot, a great compromise between street and dirt if you're going to be doing a lot of both, and they're super comfortable. And inside, hold on, let me pull this out. This company, Soul, sent me these 6 months ago. They've been in these boots ever since. You can see they're pretty conformed to my feet. They make a big difference. Now these boots are comfortable enough, but the soles are kind of flat and will wear on your feet after a while. But throw a pair of these in there, super impressed with how much more comfortable they make the boots. I recommend those, they're good. If you want to add a little comfort to boots you're going to be wearing for hours and hours and hours at a time. Okay, let's talk backpack. For the last 6 months, I've pretty much worn this MSR Enduro hydration pack. Is it the most sturdy, high quality hydration pack I've ever had my hands on? No. I've had my hands on some very high-end hydration packs. Having said that, and I mean that material-wise, like the material just feels thinner. It feels more like a backpack you would buy at Walmart than something that's designed to, you know, survive the rigors of extreme mountain biking. But I probably have 5,000 miles on this backpack now. I've worn it on multiple trips. It's got a 2-liter hydration pack. It's comfortable, it's adjustable. There's pockets on the straps, which I really enjoy. I put my earplugs in there usually. My phone goes in the other one. I'm super impressed with this pack, and it is not expensive. Hard to not recommend the MSR Enduro Hydration Pack. And inside that hydration pack, this time, we decided to try the very popular Baofeng UV5R. So you can buy the rugged radios or whatever. This is just the generic sort of version of that. And these are a ham radio and an FMRS radio. You need a license for AM radio technically, so I'm not telling you to get one and use it without it. Wink. We thought these would work better than the headsets because headsets struggle without line of sight, and you tend to get pretty spread out on these trips if you're trying to stay out of each other's dust and whatnot. And 90% of the time this was great. There was a pretty significant time when it wasn't, when we needed it to be, when we couldn't really communicate with Jeff. And it is kind of hard to hear, so this thing becomes the speaker and the microphone. So it's great for like stopping and getting attention, but like good communication is harder. Anyway, so my review is mixed on this, but this is Baofeng UV5R. This is the cheapest way to get into a radio like this. Handset, you can buy it. This is all on Amazon. This is the extended battery, and I bought this, one, because it lasts multiple days, and two, because it has a recharging port that you can plug into your USB, so I could recharge it at night. That's the radios we used on the trip. That's probably the question I've gotten the most. What radios were those? Baofeng UV5R. Speaking of communication, when you're in the backcountry, and if you guys know me, you know I recommend this all the time, Garmin inReach Mini 2. The battery on the Mini 2 is so much better than the Mini 1, so if you're wondering whether it's worth upgrading, I would say it definitely is, especially if you can sell your Mini 1 and get a little bit of money out of it. This battery lasts a week, and on the Mini 1 it was a day. So, you know, there's a difference. But this allows you to communicate via satellite even when there's no cell phone service. It's got an SOS button. And I was like, we were sending texts, like when we stopped at the campground with no service, Big Meadow, I was able to text my wife and just be like, we're camping here tonight, all is good. Let her know when we're moving in the morning. So not just for emergency communications, but just for everyday communication, especially if you have people that love you, that worry about you. Highly recommend a satellite communicator. I've had great luck with the inReach. This is the Giant Loop Tracker Packer. That's what's on the back of it. And this goes on your backpack strap. You'll see it in the videos. Like this. So it's visible and easily accessible. This thing, it holds it very sturdy, and it does work with the Mini 2. I made a whole video on that for Motocamp Nerd, but you have to buy the spine mount kit, which no longer comes standard, so that's where that confusion comes from. But Tracker Packer's a great way to carry one of these right where you can see it and use it. A few other pieces of gear, random pieces of gear that I used a lot. This is the Ragged Roads Ragged Randy. It's an indestructible crush cap. When you're out in the sun, not wearing your helmet, it's nice to have a sun visor. And the whole point of this hat is, it's indestructible. You can just, was stuffed in my saddlebag in my backpack the whole time. Now, it's a little dirty because I had it attached to the outside of the bag at one point, so I'm gonna wash it off. But if you want to carry a hat with you and you don't want to leave it on the outside of your bag and you don't want it to get crushed in your bag, these crush caps are great. This comes from Ragged Roads, which is run by my friend John, who sent me this. So this is a great option if you want to wear a hat when you're off the bike. And you knew it was coming, but I spent most of this trip wearing either my Flying Eyes. These are the Luzons with the pop-on magnetic lenses. I wore these around camp, and I took these because they're indestructible, so if they're in the bag and I drop the bike on them, there's a very slight chance that they're going to get damaged, unlike my other glasses, which don't bend and flex when you drop a motorcycle on them. On the bike, I was wearing my contacts. I was wearing my Flying Eyes sunglasses again. They're flexible, so they're comfortable under the helmet. They're not paying me for this video. This is my legitimate opinion. And they're kind of indestructible, and I like the Golden Eagles because they wrap around. So when you're riding with your visor up, these keep the wind and dirt out of your eyes better than some of the others that they have. Big fan of these. You'll see me wearing them in just about every picture from the trip. I had them on the whole time. And if you want, promo code Dork on the road saves you 10% on those on the Flying Eyes website, and there's a link in the description. Don't pay full price, 10% off indestructible sunglasses. Omni Charge, this is the exact right size to fit in my Gnome tank bag. So basically, I charge this all day off the bike, and then at night I charge everything, my phone, my camera batteries, all that off of the Omni Charge. That worked pretty well. Camera-wise, Insta360 X4 is what I was running on right here on the double take mirror mount, actually. So any of the external third-person shots you see come from this Insta360, and it allows you to get all of the shots, so you can look at the front tire, you can look back at me, you can look up at the trees going by, all of that stuff. So that's what's nice about this, is it's capturing everything all the time. And then on the helmet, Osmo Action 4, and you're gonna say, but the audio is so bad, Dork, are you really recommending that? Yes, because my audio adapter was frayed. You can see it in the video, but I didn't know till I got home, so I threw that away. But it was the problem with the mic adapter. The camera itself is great. Let's talk luggage, and then we're doneage. This is the Mosko Moto Gnome tank bag. I brought this for a couple reasons. Originally, I was going to put the hydration pack in it, so it has a hydration pack spot. Gets it off of your back. That's what this hose is for. I love that idea. I just ended up running the backpack anyway because I wanted to mount the radio there, so I just put my hydration in that. If you want a hydration that is easily accessible and not on your back, this tank bag offers that. It's also, like I said, a great size tank bag. It's not in the way on these bigger bikes. It fits that Omni Charge perfectly, and it has just the right amount of pockets for things like earplugs, tire gauges. I've got extra stickers in here. This is some anti-fog cleaner for my glasses and my visor. This is the charging cable for the bow thing, which I need to take out of here, but quick on and off, easy. I like this bag a lot. Big fan of the Gnome. And finally, the Mosko Moto Reckless 80. And I attached it with the Noblin mount, which you can't really see, but it is a little nubbin that you drill a hole in your rear rack, and that way you can easily slide the bag on and off. It's quick and easy. Like that, it works well. And I had on the back here a couple of giant loop zigzag bags with my extra straps, and then I had my camera handheld tripod for quick on and off the bike in the MOLLE panels here. I'm gonna do a full review of the luggage, and then another video comparing it to the giant loop stuff and the Rocky Mountain stuff, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. But quick thoughts on the Reckless 80 setup. It's heavy. It's a lot heavier than what I'm used to. I don't like that you have to assemble it. It's very sturdy, holds tight to the bike. I find packing it a little bit more fiddly and difficult than I do with the bags that are all one bag. And honestly, I was surprised. I got way less gear into 80 liters than I thought I was going to. I did last year's BDR with 40 liters plus 18 liters, so less than 60 liters with room to spare, and I did not feel like I could get the same amount of gear into these 80 liters as easily or comfortably. So I'm gonna do a side-by-side comparison of that because I wanna know if that's just me. I'm gonna try to put the same gear in both, but I do feel like this is good, sturdy luggage, high quality. I like that the dry bags come out and can be used separately. It's incredibly versatile, has every feature you could possibly want on luggage, but I do find it a little fiddly and a little complicated at times, and I think it takes longer to pack than I would like. Overall, I'm happy with it. It did great. I feel comfortable recommending it, even though it's incredibly expensive, so just know that. But we'll get into a detailed breakdown of the Reckless 80 setup in a separate video, so subscribe if you don't want to miss that. So that's all the gear and luggage I took on the NorCal BDR. I hope that's helpful. I hope you got some ideas. I will link everything in the description if you want to check out these products specifically, and many of those will be affiliate links, so if you want to support the channel by clicking on those, that's much appreciated. And if you found something useful in the video or got an idea, please consider hitting that like button, because those likes really help make the videos more visible, help the channel grow. And I hope you'll consider subscribing, because I'm the Dork of the Road and I want to be your internet riding buddy, and I'm better than your regular riding buddies because I come with a mute button. So check out the other videos in the NorCal BDR playlist, including the ride itself. But for now, and as always, I just want to say thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you, and please do not forget to be excellent to each other. Thank you.
Excellent!